guys, I'm straight in at the all-in because I don't have time to sort out any pre-start video because I'm breaking ice, etc. So we're at Acorn again for the 4th round of the Winter League, and it's a random draw this week. And so I've drawn peg 40. So, and I've got a whole new section. I've got new people in my section. I've got some people that I had in my section before, and I've got some new people. So we'll see how we go. It's not a bad peg in the section. It has been producing some weight. Having said that, it can be a hard peg, and with the ice on it, you just don't know. So it has gone through several weeks of not producing anything, and then it's gone through several weeks of producing something. So it can switch on and off quite easily. So what I'm doing is I'm starting down here to my left, which seems weird, but I'm just putting a bit of bread on. I've got a lovely little flat area down here to my left, which I want to feed maggots over and fish maggots over, and perhaps get fish coming in later on short. But before I do that, I'm just going to stick a bit of bread slow sinking, dobbing down, just to see if there's anything already there. I don't want to. I could have a little ball of carp there, and then I start feeding maggots over and spook them if they're not in the mood to feed. So I thought, get a bit of bread, nice big visible hook bait, and I'll drop it down this line about 5 or 6 times. I've done it twice now, and then I'll know if there's anything there, if I get any indications, and then I'll have the confidence to feed that straight away, just with pinches of maggot, and just see how it goes. Got a nice long lash because keeping it away. We've broke all the ice. This peg was completely covered in ice when I started. The sun's coming out now, so the ice is going to melt and cause me all sorts of problems later on my bridge peg. So if the wind blows the ice towards my bridge, it could be a disaster. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen. Yeah, and I'm just playing everything super cautious. Like I say, I'm having a good look on this line before we commit to anything. Yeah, so 3 nice put-ins now. That it's lovely slow sinking. Oh, gotta be careful. Just laid the rig over some ice. This is a lovely slow sinking piece of bread there. And peg 36, which was a good peg in the a good peg in the Open Match Tuesday, which is also in my section. It's already got one on. Probably fished over and dobbed it. But that's all right. So already it's looking like no bites, no liners, no indications down here. So there's not a lot of fish in this zone. So I ain't got to worry about spooking anything off. If I don't get an indication on this pot, that'll be me calling it a day down on this line from the dobbing point of view, and I'll put some start putting some maggots on. One more look. Still feel like there's potential there for a fish to be. So for those that haven't seen my other videos regarding this league, this is the 4th round of a 6 round league. You fish in a section of 7 anglers each round, and the lake's broken into 3 sections, and you move around each section, and then after you've fished every section, you do another random draw, and then you move around all the sections again, but you stay in the same section once you've. So today I've drawn against 6 other anglers, and they will be in my section now for this match and the next 2 matches. That's where we are. I'm on the 4th round of a 6 round league. Right, so given that, I've done that live on camera, I thought I'd do that while I'm doing the intro. I can now start thinking about feeding some bait up against the bridge. And just see if we can get a few fish feeding down there. Put 3 pinches in just to put something in on the bottom. And I'm going to start by dobbing over. I'll take a couple of goes to get my dobbing rig right. Because I don't know whether this rig will suspend the bread or whether it will sink under the weight of the bread. But what we're going to do is we're going over the far bank. We're not going tight. Going. Going over, but not tight, because tight on this swim at the moment. It's quite shallow for some reason. It's one of the shallower swims, tight, and I'm not confident at the moment that that's right. So what I've done is I found where the steepest slope is, and I've sort of plumbed up to the bottom of that, and I've come up a little bit so that my hook bait is kind of halfway up the slope, but not necessarily touching the slope, because it could be suspended under the weight of it could be suspended by the float, and then as I work out what depth, how that's going to sit with bread on it, then I can work out whether my bait's on the bottom or not, and I can just push it up the slope and come off the slope and just generally try to nick a few fish that way. Peg 6 to my left's just had a fish, but he's not in my section, so I ain't got to worry about him. So I'm going to switch off while I work this out, but I just thought I'd give you stocks. It's going to be a really, really hard, slow day today. Right guys, I switched you back on, because literally, whilst I was switching you off, because I've got problems with my remote control, I had to turn around and grab to reach for the tripod camera to turn it off, and I actually fouled up the fish while I was doing that. Lost him, went straight back out over the same spot. Now I've just hooked this one, which I haven't yet to see whether he's hooked properly. So again, just took it, mate. Wow, if it's not foul hooked. Straight over. I don't, the way he's fighting, he ain't hooked properly. Or he's or he's a unit. Although when we were fishing Tuesday, we were surprised how hard they were fighting. You think they're foul hookers and they're not. They're just fighting like demons. You think they'd be lethargic, wouldn't you, in this weather? Yeah, foul hooked. He's gone. Right everyone, we're an hour and a half in. Got 2 carp in the net for £9, £4 and a £5. Elastic keeps sticking, whether that's because it's cold or what's going on. Before. So we're still catching on that dobbing spot. I say still catching them. I've hooked 5 so far and lost 3. They're all foul hooks, the ones I've lost. So I can't complain too much about that. just changing the way I'm putting the rig in at the moment, and there's like a steep slope there. I'm just pushing and making sure the rig goes right up the steep slope, so that the line's out of the way for foul lookers, and so that the bait's on the bottom, but it's also on a slope, so that carp can suck it in easy. They can just sort of swim up to it and suck it off the slope, rather than having to tip up and suck it off the bottom. So I'm hoping it's going to help them take it a bit better. It's a case of being a waiting game. So my section, 2 pegs to... I'm on peg 40, peg 36 he's had 4 or 5 carp, and another peg 28 around the other side's had quite a few as well. I don't know how many, because I can't see him, he's the opposite end of my section. So I do need to keep trying to catch some fish. Trying to stay in the top 2 if I can. But I mean, I'm already 2 or 3 fish behind being in the top 2. Oh, bumped him. Oh. Scale, I think, on that one, yeah. No sooner had I turned it off and the float's gone under. I relayed the rig in and it's gone under. A nice carp. Seen him come to the top, he's properly hooked. He's definitely hooked properly, because I've seen him. The way he's playing is not running, you know, he's not erratic, so we know he's hooked properly. Time with him in the winter. Get him out. Ghosty. Water's very clear, you can see these fish. It doesn't look clear, probably wouldn't look clear on the camera either, but actually when you've got a fish like that you can see it quite a way down. He's a nice one. I'll give myself 6 for him. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 15. 3, mate. I thought you could pull that out of him, but he's done me up length in the net. Just done me up length in the landing net, that one. He done me up length in the landing net. That's right. Right guys, 20 past 1. Still basically got 3 carp. £15. Have a little look down this left hand edge, where I've been very sparingly feeding maggots. I've just fed two silvery fish lines at the bottom of the far slope, one with maggots, one with pellets, and just letting them settle for 5 minutes, 10 minutes or so. I'm going to put a tiny amount of bait on just whilst I try this inside line here and see if we get any action from it. Unless you're picking anything up on this chest cam, probably not. Ray on peg 36, I think it is, and my section is probably already won the match. Won the section, he's probably winning the match, he's absolutely emptying it. That's the fella down on the down at the other end of the section. He was also catching his horse. He's also catching, but I don't know if he still is. Yeah, so that one down the edge hasn't worked. So we're going to go over and have a look at one of. I'll sort of catch anything lines over. Put a maggot on. Start the maggot one, see if we can get anything fish. see if we can get an indication over this line where what we've done here, we've finely chopped up some maggots, so they're like a maggot soup, and then put a pinch of pinkies into them, dumped them straight in, so you get like a, with the predominantly red maggots that we've got, you get like a red cloud that goes down, and all little bits of maggots, all the small fish can feed on it, and just gets everything going. It seems to be towing right to left, which I don't believe. Might have just started happening, but I didn't see that. So we've gone out over this line. We've gone over this line. So we've got the maggot on. Really had an indication on it, or any sort of signs of anything really. So up against the bridge here, we've put a little bit of pinch of micros, tiny little bit of ground bait. Just see if we can get some sort of indication over it. Oh, I think that was a bite then. Was it a bite or a light now? There's something happened there. That was interesting. Maybe a line, maybe a bite, but something with an indication of some description from a fish. This is the first one we've had for a while. This is just at the bottom of the far slope. It's ever so slightly deeper, closer to the bridge than it is away. I've just put this rig into that little deeper spot, hoping that that's where the fish have dug it out, sort of thing. Oh, again, it's gone under. I don't know if that's a light changing or what. See, I've still got my pellet on. I made the rigging slightly differently, so it's definitely coming from deeper water into shallower water. Might just be that because this rig is dotted down, because tight against the bridge is all different colours, that float's just moves into a different coloured spot, but I think it was a bite. Right guys, we're on the chest cam only because tripod cam has somehow managed to use up all of its memory card, so it must have been recording, but I didn't realise it was. We tried a bit of feed over on the far line, but tiny little bits, but we haven't really had anything over it, so we decided to get the rig that we'd set up a rig to go down against the bridge and just fish that without any bait over it, without any feed. Foul hooked one with a maggot on, so changed the up length over just so I could have a slightly bigger hook on, and put bread on, but just a couple of inches off the bottom. I've had 2 in 2, well, I've had one out at £3. Now I've got this one on, which feels bigger. I'll have a lighter elastic on because I'm fishing like a light silverfish hook. 011 AccuPower line, so it's not super strong. So you're probably not really seeing much. I'm sorry about that because I've only set up 2 cameras today and one of them is saying that, but I thought, it'll be nice if we can get a few fish out. That one's a little bit bigger. He's lively, doesn't he? You see him? Just taking my time with him, I don't want to snack me up length. Seems to have spat the hook out. I've got him the side of the head at the minute. He was definitely hooked properly. He must have spat the hook out. I'm going to say for him 4.